Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 12th biology students, and this is meant for 29th September 2020. So we are into the revision prospectus, and we are revising chapter number 4, reproductive health. And your memory helps you in understanding that we were talking about various contraceptive methods, that is birth control methods. That's because our country is having population explosion, and whenever population goes up, there will be heavy demand for natural resources available such as water, land and minerals, etc. Hence there is a urgency, very emergency to control this population explosion. And we were talking about various methods of contraception, and in that we were talking about the temporary methods, in that natural methods, and in that natural method we said safe period, coitus interruptus, lactational amenorrhea, and safe period or rhythm period. And we also talked about the interruptus, withdrawal method, coitus interruptus, and also we talked about various methods like barrier methods. Under barrier methods, we also talked about condoms, the male as well as female condoms, and then we talked about the various vaults. And now today we are going to talk about Iuds, that is intrauterine devices. So these are inserted by doctor or trained nurse, so no self-medication here, trained nurse, into the female uterus through vagina. IUCDs may be non-medicated IUDs, so you must remember this, lips loop, non-medicated, there is no spray of medicine. And copper releasing IUDs, so you must remember this, at least the multi-load, many times this is asked in your CBSE exam. CUT, CU7, copper 7, copper T, multi-load 375, what are these like that? So you must remember that they are IUDs. And then hormone releasing IUDs. This is progestastat and LNG20. Again, this LNG20 is asked repeatedly. So the difference between multi-load 375 and LNG20 is multi-load 375 is copper releasing IUD, whereas LNG20 is hormone releasing IUD. So types of IUDs are there. And IUCDs increase the phagocytosis, that is killing of the sperms, phagocytosis of the sperm in uterus. And copper reduce the motility, speed, motility and fertility capacity of the sperms. That is the function of copper. That's why when copper T and copper 7 multi-load 375 is released, this is what happens, the sperms will be killed. The hormone releasing IUDs such as LNG20 make the uterus unsuitable for implantation, so that natural abortion takes place, and cervix hostile to sperms. It is the ideal for female who wants to delay pregnancy and spacing between two children. Instead of having every year one child, the parents can plan like say 3 to 4 years gap, like that. And then next we go to the oral pills. So oral pills are progesterone or progesterone estrogen combination based ones, and these are used by females in the form of tablets, oral pills. They inhibit ovulation and implantation, both ovulation as well as implantation, as well as change the quality of cervical mucus to prevent or to retard entry of sperms. Administration of progesterone or progesterone estrogen combination within 72 hours of the coitus is found to be very effective as emergency contraceptive. So this is most important. And of course again here very famous one you must have heard in radio and seen in TV advertisements, Saheli. It's a new oral contraceptive pill for female, and it contains non-steroidal preparation called centroman, which is taken once in a week after an initial intake of twice a week dose for 3 months. So first the Saheli tablet is to be taken twice a week for 3 months. After that it is once a week. So this will ensure the contraception of the pregnancy. And other contraceptives include hormonal implants like levonorgestrel norplant, and hormone injections like dopaprazole. So these are other things, and the permanent one will be the surgical one. The surgical method, this method is called sterilization, and it is used as a terminal method of contraception in male as well as female to prevent any more pregnancy. So further we go ahead. In case of male, look at this. This is called vas difference, all of you know. So since there is a incision being done by the doctor, there is a cutting of this, and since a pair of testes are there, right and left, so both the sides vas difference is to be made a surgical break. And once this incision is done, we say vasectomy. Okay, so in a male, vasectomy will be done. It's a small part of the vas difference that is removed or tied up through a small cut on the scrotum. While in tubectomy, okay, the sterilization surgery, here you can see the fallopian tube. This is called fallopian tube, as all of you know. So on fallopian tube there is a cut both on left and right. Remember, pair of ovaries, that's why. And a small part of the fallopian tube is removed or tied up, ligation, tied up through a small cut in the abdomen or through vagina. Both vasectomy as well as tubectomy. Tubectomy in the case of female, because there is a cut in the fallopian tube. So tubectomy. And vasectomy, vas difference cut. So vasectomy in the male. Both vasectomy in male and tubectomy in female are very, very effective. But the problem is reversibility. Reversibility is very poor. As I said yesterday, due to some unfortunate incidents, couple having only one child undergoes both vasectomy and tubectomy. Then the problem is, if something happens to that single child, they have to have reversed. The vasectomy is to be reversed, tubectomy is to be reversed, but the success rate is very poor. That is the problem. So that's what he said. These techniques are highly effective, but the reversibility is very poor. And any side effects of this contraceptive method? It's very important that the selection of contraceptive method should be taken under the consultation of doctors only. They have ill effects like nausea, that is vomiting sensation, abdominal pain, stomach pain, breakthrough bleeding, irregular menstrual cycle, even breast cancer. So one must be very, very careful. And what about this MTP, medical termination of pregnancy? So voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term is called MTP, medical termination of pregnancy, or induced abortion. It plays important role in decreasing population by aborting unwanted pregnancy. In India, MTP is legalized in 1971 with some restriction to prevent its misuse, such as indiscriminate and illegal female feticides. And MTP is used to get rights of unwanted pregnancy due to unprotected intercourse. So here the intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before the fetus becomes viable is called MTP, or induced abortion. MTP is comparatively safe up to 12 weeks. That one must remember. Up to 12 weeks it's safe. Means up to 4 months. Okay. And Government of India legalized this MTP in 1971. At present, MTP is legally allowed up to 28th week of pregnancy. if the gynecologist considers the need for abortion. Remember, there are two clauses. 28th week of pregnancy. Second, gynecologist should consider the need for abortion, not the mother or the relatives. And then we go to this contraception used during coitus on rape cases. When pregnancy continuation could be harmful or even fetal to mother or fetus. These are the reasons where the gynecologist can ascertain whether the MTP should be done or not. So MTPs are considered relatively safe during first trimester or up to 12 weeks of pregnancy. Again, neat question. Second trimester MTs are much more riskier. That's why it should be only 12 weeks. And then we continue with what is called STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. Diseases are infections that are transmitted through sexual intercourse with infected persons are collectively called STDs. So these are also sometimes called VDs, venereal diseases, or sometimes it is also called RTI, reproductive tract infection, and various diseases are there under this. Some common STDs are gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B and A, and of course very dangerous one, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS. And hepatitis B and HIV is also transmitted by sharing of injections, needles, surgical instruments with infected person, transfusion of blood transfer, and from infected mother to fetus. This hepatitis B and HIV. And except genital herpes, HIV and hepatitis B are completely curable if detected earlier and treated properly. This is the thing. So early detection is a must. And timely detection and proper treatment of STDs are very important. Otherwise, it could lead to complications later, which include pelvic inflammatory diseases. The pelvic region will be swelling. Abortions will take place. Stillbirths, delivering a dead baby, and ectopic pregnancies. That is, pregnancy instead of uterus, it will be in the fallopian tube. Infertility or even cancer of the reproductive tract. That is the worst thing. So one must be careful. Infections of STDs can be prevented. How to prevent infections? First and foremost, avoid sex with unknown partner or multiple partners. Always use condoms during coitus. Go to a qualified doctor. This is important. Don't go to quacks, duplicate doctors. In case of doubt, for early detection and complete treatment if diagnosed. And then infertility. The couples which are unable to reproduce children in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation are called infertile. The reason for this could be many. Maybe physical reason, congenital by birth, congenital, maybe diseases, use of drugs, and immunological or even psychological. So there has to be a comprehensive treatment. Infertile couples can be assisted to have children through certain special techniques commonly called as ART, assisted reproductive technologies. So in our next session we will be studying about ARTs. What are the various techniques that can be used by issueless, childrenless couples. You must have seen in your own villages, in your own hometowns, there are unfortunate couples who are issueless or childless, and they go to temples and churches and masjids and whatnot, go to so many swamis also. But then being science students, we must always guide them, encourage them to be scientific. Let's discuss that